but we need to talk about sanitation now. I'm grateful Emmanuel Azubila, who's joining us with the coalition against TUC. Now to sanitation. Open defecation in the Greater Accra Region has actually reduced from 7.8% in 2020 to 6.2% in 2021. That's according to the 2021 Population and Housing Census. Many have attributed this to the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Gamma Water and Sanitation Project, which is among others provided households toilet facilities at affordable cost to persons living in the region. Sanitation experts believe that this, if this is replicated in other parts of the country, it will help reduce the rate of open defecation here too. The Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Sanitation and Water Project under the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources exceeded its original target of constructing 19,000 household toilets facilities in the Greater Accra region. Fortunately, we've been joined now by the Gamma Water and Sanitation Project Coordinator, Engineer George Asiedu. Thanks so much for your time here on the Pulse. This is certainly good news for groups like yours engaged in the eradication of open defecation in the country. How were you able to achieve this target in the region?
Cherished listeners, indeed, it's a good news to know that your effort is yielding results. The objective of the project was to increase access, and for you to get results of this nature, and to know that a lot more people have access to toilets in the Greater Accra metropolitan area, and resulting in significant reduction in open defecation, is an achievement that we are all proud of. And the effort was ensuring that access to this facility become very affordable to the low-income bracket. That coupled with some efforts at sensitizing the public on the need for improved hygiene, and to ensure that you reach out to those who need to have access to it. So the project put on pragmatic measures, and with the effort of all, particularly with the support of the Honorable Minister and the Ministry of Sanitation, we were able to reach out to all that are required. And we are happy that at the end of the day, instead of 19,100, we're able to reach out to, as I'm talking to you, we have reached out about 37,000 households with access to.
That's obviously a feather in your cap, but how about concerns and calls for the project to actually be replicated in other parts of the country? Because the belief is that it's beginning to gain ground and yield positive results as well.
Yeah, that is long overdue. This has also been recognized by government, and with the support of the World Bank. And so they supported us in Kumasi, and we are using the Kumasi as a platform to develop a project that will extend to the entire country. So yes, efforts are on the way to reach out to the entire country. We need to replicate a resource or approach which is working. And a lot more people will still have to be supported to have access to toilets and facilities.
But what's interesting is that it appears that the problem is not over. At least we know that there's still some work, some level of work to be done. What's the strategy going forward?
The strategy, our effort is to achieve SDG Goal 6 and to ensure that by the year 2030, almost every household should have access to improved toilet facility. And once the pilot in Greater Accra and Kumasi is yielding results, replicating in other parts of the country will accelerate our effort towards achieving SDG Goal. What we know now is that the effort is yielding results, and then which is achievable SDG Goal 6. So we think that replicating the project across the country will let us get there.
And I guess this campaign feeds into the broader idea of ensuring or making Accra one of the cleanest city in Africa, if we could put it that way. That's the president's vision. How are you working towards achieving that?
Obviously, that is the target to ensure. And I want to talk of making the city clean. The main effort is to ensure that you improve sanitation, and this is looking waste. And so we are making sure that the 6.2 population that still do not have access to toilet and are practicing open defecation, this should stop and should be a thing of the past. And if it must stop, it means you must support everyone to be able to have access to this facility, which we are already doing. The project is ongoing. We are hoping that within the next 2-3 years, all those 6.2% who do not have access will have been served. And then
okay, so let's talk about the Savannah region, for instance. This is an area which has the highest defecation rate of 68.5%. The Upper East has 68.4%, and that's quite a significant number as well. What measures are you putting in place to ensure that you save these regions as well?
Yes, these areas are part of the country, and I'm sure that the Ministry of Sanitation, where I also work, is taking measures to look at the issues and put in place measures to address that. But I'm very hopeful that the ministry will consider replicating the Gamma approach to address most of these challenges in those parts of the country. They are also part of the country, and so when we are replicating the project, they also stand a very good chance of benefiting from it. We need to look at it, and I'm sure the minister will look at it in details, and we'll be able to address that.
Right, and we're also told that 5 out of Ghana's 16 regions, 5 out of that number, they've recorded more than 50% open defecation rate. So do you support calls that, of course, now that the project will be replicated, we need to increase the pace at which that replication has to be done?
Obviously, I support, and the minister also shared that idea. And this report was shared just yesterday, and a lot of efforts are already underway to look at policy reviews to ensure that some measures will be taken to support all those regions that are recording over 50% open defecation. Right. Something must be done, and I'm sure the government acting through the ministry.
Right, and you were talking about Kumasi earlier, telling us about how you are intending to start from there. What's the target for Kumasi, and how will you go about achieving that target?
The project is already ongoing in Kumasi. We refer to it as the Greater Kumasi Metropolitan Area Sanitation and Water Project, and it's serving the 8 metropolitan and municipal assemblies of the Ashanti region. Our target is to support them with access to about 30,000 household toilets in the Ashanti region, and then we also support them with about 120 schools and institutions with access to improve sanitation facilities. This, we think, that will go a long way to also reduce the open defecation and also improve the hygiene conditions in the Greater Kumasi Metropolitan Area. So that project is already underway. It was launched in November 2020. As I'm talking to you, over 1,000 households have been served already with access to toilet facility, and they are still ongoing. So I'm hoping that the 30,000 will be reached by the year 2024, and by then it will also significantly reduce the open defecation rate, as the statistics is also showing in the Ashanti region.
Impressive target there. George Asiedu, I'm grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us here on the Pulse. Still to come as well, scammers appear to have hatched new tricks and escalated their activities. Learn here today what to do to avoid being scammed. We'll be joined by the Ghana Police Service on this matter. Stay with us on the Pulse.